Plus, sneak peeks at what's coming next. With so much going on in the world of daytime, it's easy to miss a story or two, including some of the biggest ones unfolding on screen. Fortunately, we've got you covered with our guide to everything that went down last week on Days of Our Lives, General Hospital, The Bold and the Beautiful and the Young and the Restless. Plus, we've got previews of what to expect next and even coverage of primetime's best sudsers. The Bold and the Beautiful Brook is going to have to make a choice when she finally catches up with Ridge and Aspen, and what she decides could upend not just expectations but her very identity. And honestly, we're here for it. From another Douglas switcheroo to the news of a trio of familiar faces popping up on the show, this past week was full of surprising casting news. When Matthew Atkinson posted the cutest video with his dog and girlfriend, it sparked a not-so-crazy new theory in our minds about Thomas, Brooke and CPS. It's been years since we've seen Steffi's twin Phoebe, but we got to catch up with Mackenzie Mozzie at her downright gorgeous wedding. Rena Sofer loved working with Lauren's son Victor and building Quinn and Carter's romance, and recently opened up about the challenge she gave her leading man that may have changed the course of their whole on-screen relationship. In this week's Bold and Beautiful column, Candace notes that it's already looking like the trip to Aspen is going to play out in an entirely predictable way. But thanks to some clever groundwork having been laid, there is one part of the tale that may end up taking a doozy of a twist. What went down last week? Ridge was devastated to hear Brooke's voice on the CPS call. When she didn't own up to being the culprit, he found himself contemplating his destiny. Steffi and Taylor landed in Aspen, where the psychiatrist was finally able to convince her daughter that giving up on her father was what she needed to do. Cue Ridge's arrival, claiming to want a future with Taylor. Back in Los Angeles, Hope was borderline flirtatious with Thomas, and it was revealed she'd been spending nights at Eric's with Beth while Liam languished at the cabin in between fetching sessions with Brooke. Speaking of whom, she then flew off to Aspen. Just as Taylor had given in to Ridge as the pair reunited and kissed on a mountaintop. Days of Our Lives. Despite head writer Ron Carlivati's protests, it looks like Days of Our Lives is heading straight for a triangle that is sure to infuriate shabby fans, even if, in the end, it could be the best thing to happen to a number of show faves. Okay, we'll admit it, we're annoyed. After teasing what could have been one of the show's most exciting storylines in ages, Days of Our Lives went and blew it by saying goodbye to a character who was key to the plot. Move over, Marlena. Allison Sweeney, ex-Sami, just introduced fans to her new TV mom, who may be giving Salem's favorite shrink a run for her money. Meanwhile, in real life, Deidre Hall joined a few of her co-stars to address a slew of fan worries over just how much Days of Our Lives will be changing now that it's off network television. Wow, time flies when you're having fun. It may be the first time for some of us in meeting Christopher Sean's ex-Paul, significant other, but the two just celebrated their 8-year anniversary. Damsels in distress, vanishing couples and lackluster romances are just a few of the problems plaguing Days of Our Lives these days. Tack on some downright misogynistic behavior, and Curtis is starting to feel in this week's column that the show could use a major adjustment or two. What went down last week? Jennifer remembered that she was the one who ran over Gwen, who forgave her. Mike returned to take Jennifer to rehab and connected with Nancy. After Chad helped and overwhelmed Stephanie with Paulina's campaign, she hired him. Then, they kissed. Rachel lashed out at Chloe again, while Kristen secretly tended to the orchid that could save Marlena, Kayla, and Kate. Desperate, Rex and John offered Rolf money for his help. As Johnny and Ava moved back to the mansion, Idge exposed her for forging Jake's signature on their marriage license. Stefan gave Gabby his ring back, Jada and Rafe walked in on a close moment between Eric and Nicole, and Sloane blackmailed Paulina over Chanel. General Hospital. Hard as it might be to believe, it appears General Hospital has forgotten its own history. At least where Carly is concerned. Fans are pointing out some pretty big mistakes and why the latest twist of her plot makes no sense. The show looks to be barreling ahead to a stunningly predictable conclusion to the Hook killer mystery, but there's still time for it to shock us all with a heartbreaking twist. Bold and Beautiful scene stealer Allie Mills is checking into General Hospital in a mystery role, but we have a feeling she might end up being just the person to give us the answers to questions that have been plaguing us for decades. Maurice Benard has worked with countless actors in his nearly 30 years as Sonny, but he recently admitted, there's only ever been one co-star who intimidated him every time they worked together. Well, that's just not fair at all. After some General Hospital stars spent a night on the town, one castmate wanted to know where his invitation was. It really is true what they say, you can't keep a good villain down. They do say that, right? Between Esme's return from the dead and Cyrus bonding with Spencer in jail, Dustin notes in this week's column that General Hospital was awash in surprises. But were they enough to pull along some of show's more sluggish stories? He's looking at you, Liz. What went down last week? Diane survived the hook attack and revealed that the killer is a woman. Esme returned to town and told her father that she had a secret that would blow apart the Cassadines. She denied being the hook, but another one of her enemies, Oz Haggerty, was the next victim. Joss and Michael saved Dex in the nick of time from being carved up by Sonny's ringer, but Dex still insisted to Michael that he complete the job. In Pentonville, Cyrus came to Spencer's aid when another inmate attacked him. Liz confided her memory about Rayco to Terry, who offered to help get to the bottom of this mystery. And Carly's fight to protect Virginia's grave turned dirty, and she realized it was time to shed the Corinthus name. The young and the restless Tuckers' return to Genoa City is sure to shake up the canvas in a big way, but we've a feeling the Abbotts are the ones who really need to watch their backs. And no, we aren't just talking about Ashley. Because if the past is any indication, the one most likely to go off the deep end may just be Abby. Peter Bergman, meanwhile, didn't hold back about his issues with the way the show was writing Jack and the Abbotts. So how does he feel about what's ahead for the family? Young and Restless may have thought it had taken this baddie out with the trash, but on the anniversary of his supposed death, Michael Corbett is here to remind us that a good villain never dies. Getting dating advice from Young and Restless' biggest stars seemed like a good idea, at least until one of them suggested looking mysterious in your Speedo. Hunter King, ex-Summer, shared how she got more than a new role from her latest movie and in turn, her co-star expressed, "I love you so much." Nikki and Phyllis have been playing with fire so much lately that about all Candace can wonder in this week's column is just how badly they're about to be burned. Plus, while she knows Elena's heart may be in the right place, in Genoa City, a conscience doesn't get you anything but heartache. What went down this week? Chelsea's plans to tell Connor about his brother and ambush Johnny in the park backfired. Tucker McCall crashed Kyle and Summer's vow renewal and butted heads with Jack, Victor, Abby and finally Diane, who was worried about their connection being exposed. Tucker assured all, including his son Devin, that he was only back to make amends with Ashley. Thanks to Tucker gifting Kyle a Bentley, Nikki suspected he and Diane were an item in L. And questioned Noah about the London-based firm associated with the car. It turns out Audra worked there. And Nick asked Sally out after Adam told his brother he still loved her. Devin hired Esther at Chancellor Winters, and Nate and Elena remained on the outs. Primetime News this past week's episode of Grey's Anatomy introduced a whole new crop of interns, secrets and all. And it was the start of what could be a defining season for the long-running Primetime Sudser. Here's why. 32 years ago, the series took the nation by storm, but wait until you see what Beverly Hills 90210's OGs look like now in stunning then and now photos. Plus, find out what cast members have been up to in the years since the show ended. While we're waiting for Season 5 of Yellowstone to drop, Kelly Riley is already saying a special goodbye. Plus, hear what she has to say about the land Beth holds dear. What's coming up? Now that you're all caught up on what went down last week, here's a glimpse of what's just around the corner. As Brooke tries desperately to salvage her marriage in Aspen, Bill's determined to win Katie back. But all it takes is a quick look at this week's Bold and Beautiful preview to leave us feeling that both those plans may be in quite a bit of trouble. As Kate, Marlena and Kayla fight for their lives on Days of Our Lives, Brady is prepared to make a deal with the devil to save them. But will he really trade his own daughter's future for the lives of Orpheus victims? Is Nate about to come clean about all of his shady dealings? That's definitely the feeling we get as he begs for Elena to come back in this week's Young and Restless preview. As the year comes ever closer to a close, join us as we pay tribute to the daytime stars that 2022 has taken from us with a photo gallery of memory.